Buongiorno a tutti and welcome back to Crave. Crave is where passion are celebrated, dreams take shape, and the USA and Italy come together. Today we are kicking things off with Bruce Kittle, a leadership and mindset coach, speaker, and former football coach. We will explore inside mindfulness and personal growth. Then we will dive into the beauty of Italian language in L'Angolo della Lingua Italiana with Vania. Later, Eva Rorandelli, CEO and fashion director of Evaro, Italia, will join us, bringing her vision and creativity to the show. And of course, my partner in this adventure, Alex Lopez, is here. Buongiorno, Alex.
Buongiorno.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm very excited.
Me too. Let's get started. Welcome to Crave, Bruce.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Bruce, you have had a diverse career as a coach, attorney, and mentor. How did you first discover meditation and how has it influenced your journey?
Okay, well, starting from the beginning, and I know we're not going very long, so I'll try to keep all these pretty short. My first real exposure, so I'm 66 now. Back in the day, I played college football at the University of Iowa. And our head coach was a psychology major, Hayden Fry. And when he came to take over the program, which we hadn't done much winning there for a long time, he used a lot of visualization. And so before every game, we'd go out and do our warm-ups. And then when we came back in the locker room, he would have them turn all the lights out. So this is like maybe 10 minutes before we go for kickoff. And he would make everybody do breath work in the locker room with the lights out. And then he would do a guided meditation about how we would perform in the game and why we would win. And so that was really my first kind of exposure to it as far as that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of grew from there. So I was kind of aware of it, especially visualization. I really wasn't in the breath. And then I'm a restorative justice circle dialogue facilitator, was in a lot of conflict resolution stuff. And so in the circle dialogue process, we would always do breath work prior to doing communication around difficult issues. So that was kind of ingrained there. And then my deep dive really didn't take place until about 12 years ago when my daughter, Emma, she first did her 200-hour yoga teacher training. And so it was really hot yoga. And then in the yoga, the movement takes me to my breath, and the breath really opened the door to all the mindfulness stuff. And so ever since then, so about the last 12 years, it's been a very deep kind of daily practice trying to stay in the moment. So that's kind of my journey with mindfulness and breath work and meditation.
Like you mentioned with your own personal journey, I know later on you guide athletes and leaders in mindfulness. How can meditation help people handle pressure, improve focus, and build resilience in both sports and in life?
I would say this. To start with, people, I think when I'm around a lot of kind of macho, big, tough people. That's what they do. They're very physical and all that. And so when we get into this world of yoga and mindfulness and meditation and breath work, one of the things, they kind of want results because they're very data driven and all that. And I don't think there's any question that the research over the last 10 years around meditation, mindfulness, and breath work, the degree to which you can almost immediately regulate your nervous system. And then also every time you do it, you're actually building capacity in the way in which your neurons are actually changed and modified. So I think from a research base, I think it's super clear. So in our world with that, we use it a lot for preparation. So we talk about small, consistent steps lead to amazing results. So if you're doing the same thing, you can kind of make progress. And then we talk about intentional, deliberate kind of steps taken over time also do that. So this intentional, deliberate pace. So for us, mindfulness is about awareness and then choice. And so as far as like staying focused and then reducing stress, when we feel it, you can immediately, and the one great thing about breath work is that it is always with you. It's a tool that you always have in your toolbox, no matter where you are. So you can take 4 great big deep breaths, or you can do a little box breathing kind of thing, or whatever it is that for you. So I think that is super helpful. And then identifying for focus. So before games, we train with athletes about doing breath work before games, so they're kind of relaxed, calm, still at that level to perform, but kind of able to go. And so I think that's a great thing. And then the resiliency thing, I was thinking about that. So we do a little process called, it's a reset tool. So like if you have a bad play, you never want to let the last play influence the next play. And so in football, you have basically 40 seconds. So after the last play, let's say you drop a pass. You have to run back to the huddle. You get a brand new play. You have to get out there. You have to read the coverage. You have to do all those things over like in 40 seconds. So what can you do? So the breath is a great one. We've actually had some players that really works. They put some tape on their sleeve, and it's either like a switch or a button, and they mentally call it their reset button. And so if they had something go that is not what they wanted, they can tap that reset button, and then mentally they kind of flush it. We usually do an image of the energy leaving the body and into Mother Earth through the feet, into the field. So there's a lot of different ways for focus and the resiliency and all that kind of stuff. And again, it's about awareness and choice. We're just recording our foundations kind of online course. And the one piece about that is, as you develop awareness and choice, you become aware of the situations where you're not showing up the way you want to. And we have a choice about how we want to. And so if we can take that gap between response and the triggering event, then we have an opportunity to be who we want to be.
So for those new to meditation, it can feel a little intimidating, right? What a simple practice or mindset shift to help someone to get started?
Right. I think this is one of the most important questions that we could continue to have, because I think you're right. It is kind of intimidating. And they see all the people levitating and sitting cross-legged and all that kind of stuff. So the one thing I tell all the guys that we work with and women is don't overthink it. You know, they kind of get into their head about what meditation is supposed to be. So our definition of meditation is just paying attention to whatever you're focused on. That's it. So it could be the sound of your refrigerator in your kitchen. It could be your breath. And all we're trying to do is practice paying attention to that one thing. And then the mind, as we know, it's like a little puppy, and a rabbit runs through the yard and the puppy wants to chase the rabbit. And that's kind of how the mind works. And so a new thought pops in. And so instead of the refrigerator or my breath, now I'm chasing this thought. And the whole practice is just, oh, my mind is over here now. I'm going to pull it back. And that's it. And so I think if people can be a little bit more filled with grace and forgiveness for themselves, because they have this image that people meditate for hours without their mind wandering. And maybe some people do, but that's not how it works for me. And I think a lot of people kind of get intimidated by that. So as specific practices, the ones that we teach right away, is one, don't try to go too long, go to 3 to 5 minutes. And there's a really easy one about, count your breaths. And then as soon as you find and then write down how many breaths you took before you started thinking about something else. And then it's just a game to try to see if you can get to, increase that by 1 or 2. So just do something simple that fits into your schedule and don't overdo it. There's a 4-breath morning thing that we teach guys. So even when you're laying in bed, if you're not going to get a meditation in, taking 4 great big, the first one is taking a really big deep breath and just feeling your body. So you're really somatically engaged. So you're kind of in there. Second breath is about gratitude, just thinking whatever or whoever you want to, but for another day, you woke up. That's a great thing. The third breath is just setting an intention for the day. Who do I want to be and how do I want to show up? So it could be kindness, love, whatever. And then the fourth breath is just reminding yourself to always keep your mind where your feet is. So on the fourth breath, you swing out of bed, put your feet on the ground, and it's about trying to stay present in that moment. So that's one of the practices. The other one we work on, and this may be a little bit more advanced, but it's what we call STOP. It's from a professor out of the University of San Francisco, Ron and McGee, but S is for literally stop. So when you feel triggered or something going on, so you stop. The T is for take a breath, so maybe 2 or 3, so you kind of regulate. The O is for observe, so what's going on internally for me, and then what's going on externally. So there's chaos over here in the office. It's kind of triggering me, so now you become aware. And then the P is simply for proceed, and so proceeding in a way that's consistent with your values and how you want to show up. So those are a couple little practices that we try to make it super easy for people. And again, be filled with grace and forgiveness for yourself, because it's not an easy practice to participate in. So we just, small little steps all build a capacity.
And also it's important, practice every day, right?
Well, and I think that's what people, it is a practice, just like playing the piano. You don't start off being great or whatever it is, and it's just like a sport. You learn it. And the reason we practice on the cushion or however people practice is so that we can take it into life. It's not just something we do in the mornings for whatever time period and then we leave. It's like when I'm at the office, that's when everything really triggers. And so hopefully people can kind of make that connection. And I think they'll find, and that's the neurological kind of research shows us, with regular practice of breath work and meditation, we learn to be calmer, we breathe differently, and we can show up in a more present way without getting triggered in the ways that we used to. So it actually changes our neurology. So I think that's a pretty powerful tool.
At Crave, we always ask about passion. Beyond meditation and coaching, what is something that you are truly passionate about?
Well, nice of you to say that. So our work, so we have an app called Hidden Pearl Studio, and our little motto is about helping people mindfully discover, heal, and express their authentic self. And so and this is kind of related to all that, but I'm going to lead with it, is just, I'm super passionate about understanding and learning more about healing modalities. So where different people at, because people are in such different places about their own kind of trauma or their woundedness or whatever was going on with them, that kind of blocks them energetically from being the person that they want to be. And so what healing modalities, and our role for that is not, we don't wave a magic wand and heal people. We open the capacity that they already own within themselves to find their own healing pathway. Yeah. And for us, most of that is all connected to love. And so the love generates from within. And when you can start to love yourself, you start to forgive yourself, you can heal yourself. And then if you're healing yourself, then maybe we're not going to hurt anybody else. And then eventually we can be a conduit for others to heal. So that's that one. The non-kind of related answer, I love the ocean. I swim in the ocean, I snorkel, I scuba dive, I free dive, and I surf a little, not very well, but I love to surf as well. So for me, the ocean is a super healing element, and I love being in the ocean. So trying to protect it and be in it as much as I can.
Okay, to close, could you guide us through a short mindfulness meditation for our audience?
This won't be too long, so we're just going to do a little bit of breath. I'm just going to call it's a somatic breath practice, a little body scan I thought would be super easy for people. So I guess my journey for me right now is kind of moving from head in the cognitive world, and then even our emotions, all that stuff gets kind of dumped into the body. And I think our culture teaches us in a lot of ways not to connect to our body. You know what I mean? In that way. And so when we can connect to the body, we can release a lot of the stuff that we carry. It's better for our health. And then it also transmutes all that energies that we're kind of carrying from other things. Yeah. So maybe we'll just do that. I'll just do, is like 3 to 5 minutes. Is that about right? Okay. So I'm going to ring my bell. I don't know if you'll hear it or not. My daughter says you can't, but anyway, it helps me. So, all right. So we'll welcome and invite you to get comfortable, whatever seated position you want. We let people lay down or sit on a cushion, but any way that you want to. A little bit alert without falling asleep, but not too rigid. And so as you settle in, and just invite you to kind of move from your head into your body and just feel the way in which your body's being supported by whatever it is that you're sitting or laying on. Feel your feet grounded to the earth. Feel gravity holding you. Just feel your breath entering your lungs, filling up, and just the way in which your body holds you, and maybe just a moment of gratitude for that body that carries you through the day and allows you to do all the things that you can do. So we'll take, just to kind of get settled, we're going to take 3 breaths, and we're just going to inhale through the nose, hold for a count, and then exhale out through the mouth. And just all we're doing is kind of cleansing, and maybe with each breath, just feel what your body's doing with the intake of each one. And as you exhale, just kind of focus on maybe releasing or letting go anything that's in your body. So if you have an area of tightness or soreness or just some sensations, we'll just kind of, whatever there is there, see if something can get a little bit softer. So here's breath 1. We're going to inhale. So we're going in. And we'll hold. And then just exhale out through the mouth. Again, just kind of releasing energetically, physically, whatever you might need to release. Re-inhaling, holding, and a little exhale. We'll just do one more of those to get set up. So we're going to inhale and let it out. So from here, if you haven't closed your eyes and you're comfortable doing so, I'd invite you to do that. And so from here, we're just going to take a few breaths. I'm going to lead us through a body scan, just kind of an easy one, just to kind of get a feel for it. And all we're looking for is just to kind of get in touch with our body as best we can. And whatever sensation or soreness or limits, whatever you have, and this is true with everything in meditation, everything is welcome. We're not trying to push anything away. We're trying to create an open space for whatever is there within us to be present and to know it more fully. So just invite you, and I'm going to use the chakra system because that's kind of works for us, but I'm just going to start with kind of the crown chakra at the top of the head and just invite you with the breath to kind of be present there. And we're just going to work down. So we're going to come down across the skull to the forehead, and I'll just name these parts. And as you're coming down, just kind of do your own way of censoring and identifying with that and just see what's there. So we're going to work through the forehead. See if you're scrunching your eyes up, that little crink between your eyebrows. See if you can relax your jaw, kind of the ears. Get all tight. We clench and bite our teeth. Let that loose. Maybe the back of your head, that's where you might get headaches, I don't know, or sore, stiff necks. Just, again, everything is okay. Just being aware of what's present. We'll roll down into the shoulders. Just see if you can relax them a little bit more. Lots of people carry tension and stress in the shoulders and upper back. So just roll that down over the chest, shoulders, biceps, triceps, kind of shoulder blades, into the stomach region, kind of the hips. Don't forget the forearms and the hands. Just see what might be alive there for you. So from the hips, we're working into the kind of glutes, whatever you're sitting on, thighs, quads, hamstrings. Just see what's there. Check in with your knees. We'll do shins, calves. Moving down into the ankles, top of the feet, toes, and we'll roll back on the bottom of the feet. So again, we're just inviting the emotions and the cognitive part of us to let go a little bit, to truly feel and be embodied in this thing that carries us around, knowing that we're more than just the body, but yet it is the vehicle, and it is a doorway to knowing and understanding ourselves more fully. So stay in that. So I thought we'd close with 3 box breaths. So this is one of my favorite. Actually, it's a triangle breath for me. I like to do it. So we're just I'll ring the bell. We're going to inhale for a count of 5. We'll hold for 6, and we'll exhale for 6. And we'll just do that 3 times. It's just a way to kind of really feel your body and kind of close out and integrate this experience. So breath 1, we're inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one more. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from here, just invite you back to your regular breath. We'll kind of pull back to the space that you're in, wiggle those toes and fingers, and we'll re-enter and open our eyes back up. And we'll join Samantha and Alex in the studio. Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, and now it's time for the Italian language spotlight. Join Vania for L'Angolo della Lingua Italiana, where she takes us through the beauty of the Italian language. Vania, a te la parola.
Ciao Samantha, ciao Alex, bentornati all'Angolo della Lingua. L'espressione di oggi è composta da 2 parole, tutto bene. All is well, all good. Tutto bene can be used in several contexts. For example, how are you? Come stai? Alex, come stai? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene?
Mm-hmm.
Bene. O come va? How is it going? Alex, come va?
Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, tutto bene. E la famiglia a casa, the family at home?
Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, perfetto. E possiamo usare tutto bene per qualunque domanda relativa alle nostre cose. So, for any occasion, the family, work, the study of Italian. How is it going, guys? Your Italian learning process. Tutto bene?
Tutto bene.
Tutto bene, okay? So, for this time, that's all, and I'll see you next week. Ciao,
Grazie
ciao!
Vania. Ciao, grazie. Crave is proudly partnered with the Consul General of Italy and the Italian Culture Institute of San Francisco. Their support allows us to celebrate and share Italian culture, language, and innovation with a wider audience. For more information and upcoming events, visit their website at the link below. March is a Women History Month, celebrating the achievement of inspiring women. Join us now is Eva Rorandelli, the CEO of and Fashion Director of Evaro, Italia, a brand that embodies Italian elegance and craftsmanship. I'm excited to dive into her journey and insights. Welcome to Crave, Eva.
Thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Eva, Evaro Italia is a true representation of luxury and craftsmanship. What was your inspiration behind creating the brand, and how does it capture your vision of Italian fashion?
Yeah, I mean, I think the inspiration behind the brand really came from just growing up in Florence. I feel very blessed that, I grew up with so much art and architecture and fashion. So in a way, I was immersed in that all my life. Also, I come from a family of leather makers, leather producers, leather designers. So my father had a store in the center of Florence, right next to the Duomo, right next to the Medici Chapel. So, I would just walk through the center of Florence every day after school and help out. I would just help my father and go to fashion events and meet buyers. So I think, a lot of really came from that experience, being really fully immersed into fashion and art, all of that. And when my father passed away, I wanted to do something with everything I had learned from him, combined with my experience, my education. I have a background in fine arts. I always been very passionate about painting and textiles and, pre-Renaissance and mannerism. So combining all those passions and everything I had learned together was a very natural transition for me to start my own brand. Yeah, I started doing small collections over 10 years ago. And then since then, now we have several lines within the Evaro Italia brand. We do accessories and jewelry, couture, ready to wear. So a lot of different products. It's all made in Italy. So a lot of made in Italy brands still outsource their processes, still, import materials from other countries. We don't do that. We do everything in-house. So it's truly, made in Italy. It's very authentic. It's very true to that tradition of made in Italy. So yeah, that's Evaro Italia. And we have, a lot of things going on now. Yeah.
So in May, Evaro Italia will be part of exciting event in Napa. Can you share more details about it? And what makes this occasion significant for your brand? And also, what can we expect to see from the brand in the future?
Yeah, so I'm actually here in California because we are getting ready for show season. And each season, we present a new collection and we partner with exclusive venues, very exclusive locations, and pretty much launch the collection. And this year, we're going to be in Napa. We're partnering with Castellucci Napa Valley, which is a wonderful estate and vineyard in Napa. They also are a family business like us and also have a really strong Italian heritage. So it's a perfect fit for us. We're gonna be showing our couture collection, which is part of the Alta Moda line, and is a line that I created for our customers that really wanted to have a bespoke piece from Florence, completely hand sewn with beautiful fabric. So It's exciting for us because it's the first time we're showcasing this collection. It's going to be outdoors in the Rose Garden. And, we're going to also have our new jewelry collection. It's going to be wine tasting. So it's going to be a wonderful event. It's a great way to really connect with the community, with the cities where we are. And you can find more information on the website. So if you go to evaro.it, on the news page, there are information about the event in Napa. It's exclusive, so there's only limited attendance, but definitely, if you want to have information, you can email us or go to the website. And then, right after the show, I'm actually heading back to Florence. I'm working, kind of finishing up the collection that we're launching at Milan Fashion Week in September, and that's spring/summer 26, and then the next season. So, quite busy, always like working a few seasons ahead. It's kind of how it is with fashion. So, yeah.
Italian fashion is celebrated worldwide for its timeless elegance and exceptional craftsmanship. In your opinion, what sets it apart on the global stage, and how does Evaro Italia embody these distinctive qualities?
Yeah, I think Italian fashion has been kind of leading the international high fashion market for decades, for all the reasons that Made in Italy is so important and relevant today. I would say quality, tradition, and innovation. And, quality, not just the products, but the materials that are utilized for these products. I'm thinking about the tanning process for leathers, the Italian lace. These are materials that really come from the craft and generations of expertise of how to produce them. Right. And I think Italian artisans have really mastered that balance between tradition and contemporary needs, and really use traditions to propel new ideas, propel innovation. And I'm thinking about big brands like Ferragamo, which is also from Florence, that's still using today traditional techniques. And, with my work with Evaro Italia, I put a lot of care and a lot of attention in all the details and the process, from the concept to the finished product, the finished products. So, like, even just in terms of techniques, we use couture techniques for our garment production, both for ready-to-wear and couture. So there's a lot of hand sewing, a lot of hand beading, just a lot of hours and labor that goes into the creation of these garments. And the same with our accessories and jewelry. They're like one of a kind pieces, because they're all done by hand, one by one. So clearly these are pieces that become very special. Our customers love to invest in a necklace or a garment and kind of like cherish them, become a staple in the wardrobe. Maybe they'll pass it on to their daughters and daughters after that. I think it's very much what Made in Italy is about, products that have a really high quality and a very Italian style and design, and also timeless, that kind of never go out of style, let's put it that way. So I think it's very important for me, definitely, to have that traditional Made in Italy as part of the brand.
At Crave, we always ask about passion. Behind the world of fashion, what is something that you are truly passionate about?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of passions, definitely like art, art history, painting and drawings. I'm very visual. I like to think, everything in colors in a way, like even when I work, I think about maybe the absence of a color or a sequence of colors. So definitely art. I'm also very passionate about nature. I love to kind of immerse myself in nature. It's where I can really gather my thoughts and concentrate. So I also like to think about nature in how it interacts with technology. I've always been very fascinated by that. Sometimes kind of intertwines with technology, sometimes really collides with technology. And ultimately, I really like my work, as a designer, because it really allows me to share these passions with my customers, with women around the world, and I think be able to, kind of like showcase the way I see the world, and connect to them is very powerful, and it's just great as a designer to be able to connect and share my vision, for sure.
Thank you, Eva, so
You're
much
welcome.
for joining us on Crave.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you soon.
Looking for a boutique that truly understands your style? Alice Bakery Inc. in Novato is your perfect choice, featuring top designers and personal touch. Every customer gets a one-of-a-kind shopping experience. That's why Crave Radio is proud to partner with Alice Bakery Inc.
Thank you to Alice Baker Inc. for supporting this episode. Now, what's going on, Alex, with the 49ers?
So it's only been 6 days into the 2025 league year. Well, at least while we're recording this episode. And so much has already happened, especially with the 49ers. So we got to dive right in. First, Kyle Juszczyk is returning to the Niners on a 2-year, $8 million deal. I found out that he was coming back as soon as I woke up on Friday. My sister-in-law, Maggie, texted me, and I could not believe it. I immediately messaged Samantha the news. And I know I said last week, quoting 49ers Hive, that an aging fullback who touches the ball maybe once or twice every other week isn't going to be a major factor for a team trying to get younger. But the 49ers obviously value Kyle Juszczyk's role in the system. Obviously, it's not going to be a move that kind of changes the direction of the team, but it's one that keeps a trusted vet who helps kind of set the tone in the locker room and also plays a key role in their run game. Also, Crave needs to go to the third fit check night with Kristen.
Yes.
It hasn't been announced yet, but we have to go when it is. And I'm just so happy they're staying. We're going to see new Niner fits from Kristen. And also, I'm just happy that her and Claire are staying together.
Right. And she's Italian, too.
She is.
Uh-huh.
We'll have her on Crave one day, maybe. But speaking of the Niners running back room, the Niners are trading running back Jordan Mason to the Minnesota Vikings. The Niners are also sending Minnesota pick 187 from this year's draft. And in return, Minnesota is sending the Niners pick 160 from this year's draft and a 2026 sixth-round pick. Like with Debo, I saw a lot of Niner fans saying we should have got something more for him. And I get it, Niner fans know just how much of a difference maker Jordan Mason is. And his story is incredible. I mean, he was undrafted and then made it to the 2022 final roster with a 1.6% chance to make it in the preseason. So naturally, I think a lot of us feel as though he deserves a higher pick, but we kind of have to remember that front offices rarely kind of give up high draft picks for a running back without an extensive resume. And the Niners likely saw him leaving next season and just decided to get something in return now. This is another one that makes sense. It's just tough to handle, I think, as a fan. Another offensive move the Niners made this week is signing quarterback Mac Jones to a 2-year, $7 million deal. I was actually at the Vania event with Samantha when this happened. For those of you that might not know the history behind this, in the 2021 NFL Draft, the 49ers traded up to number 3, and the rumors were that Kyle Shanahan wanted to get Mac Jones. But the team ultimately chose Trey Lance. Remember him? Mac Jones then fell to number 15 with the New England Patriots. And here we are a few years later with him most likely being QB2. He's probably going to be number 10, which is like a cursed number on the Niners.
Don't say that.
It's true. I know, it's not the worst choice for backup QB. And I did say that the Niners needed to focus on that. But 2021 me is just taking over on how I feel about this, which is not the best. And on the defensive side of the ball, the dream of the Bosa brothers teaming up on the Niners is over because Joey Bosa is headed to the Buffalo Bills on a 1-year, $12.6 million deal. And honestly, I'm okay with the Niners not signing him this season. While the idea of adding another Bosa was exciting, my concern was his injury history and the possibility of him being out for an extended period of time. The Niners just can't afford to invest in a player who can't be consistent, especially right now. And who knows, maybe he'll have a good year with the Bills and he'll be in a Niners uniform after his time in Buffalo. I'm actually really surprised that he went there because they were not in the kind of conversation, at least that the general public knew. And finally, in NFC West news, former Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp is going to the Seattle Seahawks. This does not scare me or move me in any way. And I still believe the Niners should have 2 easy wins against Seattle next season.
Wow, that was a lot.
I feel like my updates keep getting longer and longer every week because there's so much going on right now. Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk is back on a 2-year deal. What does this say about how the Niners value the fullback position in today's games?
I think it shows the 49ers still see the fullback position as a vital piece of their offense. And they prioritize versatility in Kyle Shanahan's offense. So I'm so excited he's back. And I'm ready for this next season or next 2 seasons with him.
Stay tuned. We file it for next week. More update.
Before we wrap up today's 49ers offseason update, fuel up with the official energy drink of greatness, Goat Fuel, co-founded by the GOAT himself, Jerry Rice. Use our affiliate code to get 10% off your order. It's the perfect way to power up and to support Crave. The link is in the description down below. Thank you for tuning in to the 7th episode of our 6th season. Follow us on Instagram at crave.show. We're on Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe.
And make sure to check our website, craveshow.com, and see you next week. Ciao a tutti. Grazie. Ci vediamo presto.